Greetings, all! Today, we will be examining the members of the Treasures of Ruin, including the legendary Dark Grass-type Pokemon Wo-Chien, the legendary Dark Ice-type Pokemon Chien-Pao, the legendary Dark Ground-type Pokemon Ting-Lu, and the legendary Dark Fire-type Pokemon Chi-Yu, the four collectively known as the Ruinous Pokémon. Cursed from birth and destined to cause ruination wherever they go, the members of the Treasures of Ruin are terrifying creatures that can more than prove to be a nightmare to handle if you're not given a wide berth and avoided swiftly.
Wo-Chien has the appearance of a large, snail-like creature, with thick forest green foliage covering its lower body, as well as a thick shroud of green and brown leaves that cover the entirety of its neck and head, a pair of small sprigs of brown leaves on the tip of its head, and a pair of branch-like extensions on the sides of its head, twisting to form a pair of green-lidded orange eyes with yellow sclera. Its back end has a shell-like form to it, the conical hump having a series of ancient tablets stuck to it in succession to form a spiral shape around the protrusion. Chien-Pao has the appearance of a quadrupedal feline-like creature, with three silvery white icy claws on each of its feet and a series of icy studs running along the length of its face, neck, back, and tail. Its head features small, semi-rounded ears, icy crystals for eyes, and a set of large fangs on the upper jaw that exist at the two broken ends of a green and black stylized ancient sword, with icy stalactites at both ends. Ting-Lu has the appearance of a large quadrupedal mammal-like beast, with a dark brown lower body and underside and light brown top, with bands of these colors forming alongside red bands on the semi-barbed and stocky red feet and legs, further having a tiny tail and a thick torso and neck. It has a moose-like head with glowing red eyes, and the top of its head is crowned by a large green metal bowl with various recesses and projections on it, and is clearly in a broken state. Lastly, Chi-Yu has the appearance of a goldfish, but its entire body, including its tail, ventral and pectoral fins, is comprised of glowing, brilliantly colored orange and scarlet tipped flames. Its only other major distinguishing feature is its eyes, which are black in color and have a set of faded greenish-teal stylized beads encircling them.
These beasts form a quartet of beings known as the Treasures of Ruin, and their story highlights both the destructive power and the reason why they're currently sealed away from human grasp.
In ancient times, there was a Paldean king known for a seemingly insatiable sense of greed, so much so that he would happily invade other nations just so he could loot them for valuables for his collection and wealth. However, one day a merchant from the Far East came to him and offered to him a series of 4 objects: a broken sword, a set of tablets, a set of jade beads, and a vessel. He took a great liking to them and paid the merchant handsomely for them, but what he was not aware of at the time was that the 4 relics were cursed, having been passed down between evildoers back and forth for centuries to the point of becoming corrupted from so much exposure to negative emotions and actions. One night, this final act of greed in purchasing them was what they needed to awaken, as the 4 treasures morphed into becoming the legendary Pokemon we know them as today: Chien-Pao, Wo-Chien, Chi-Yu, and Ting-Lu, respectively. Upon coming to life, the dark corruption that had led to their creation was allowed to run rampant, and they broke out of containment, proceeding to completely destroy the kingdom. In a last-ditch effort to contain the damage they could deal, a group of Pokemon wielders were hired in order to put the beasts away, and while it took every ounce of power they and the Pokemon had, they were eventually able to seal the Treasures of Ruin away, only for them to fall out of public eye and into obscurity. Today it is said that the shrines where these beasts were bound are still in existence, but are each sealed with 8 mystical stakes that can only be pulled by someone pure of heart and that has a strong bond with their Pokemon. Only when each of these 8 stakes are pulled can any of these beasts be released back into the wild, though such an action could bring great calamity to the region once more if they fell into the wrong hands. Wo-Chien, in its initial state, was known as the Tablets of Ruin due to being used to communicate and pass down information on wooden tablets that were then fused together before eventually became a force that could cause disasters all on its own. Not only does this name apply also to its unique signature ability, which lowers the attack stat of all Pokemon around it in battle by 25%, but it also cues others into the true state of its physical nature, as the vivid red eyes of this beast are made from plants, as is most of its body, and little else. The grudges of a man that was forced to write all 92 tablets on his own by a greedy king about his evil deeds lingers on in the form of this creature, and it fills others with a painful need to look to all that have wronged them or otherwise have made them feel inadequate, and in turn create grudges that fill their minds and hearts and force them to act in revenge to alleviate the grudges eternally. This nature grants this beast access to the Ruination attack and allows it to wield the power of nature to great use in battle, with extremely strong special defensive power to it that helps to counter the otherwise moderate offensive power and limited mobility of its plant-based body. Moreover, the energy-draining powers of the creature are astounding, and is able to drain the life force of vegetation so thoroughly that it can cause nearby forests to wither and fields to turn barren with little hope of immediate recovery. While it might not look as outwardly threatening as some of the other members of the Treasures of Ruin, this living relic is still a devastating threat to all that come near it, and in turn is worth avoiding if possible to save one from the horrible fate that may befall them if this creature is fully unleashed upon the world again, especially given that it's well armored, its base HP stat being above average for a fully evolved Grass-type Pokemon, and about average for a fully evolved Dark-type Pokemon, and its base defense, special attack, and special defense stats being above average for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of its types, possessing the highest base special defense stat out of all Dark and Grass-type Pokemon, and rendering it a terrifying tank to have to confront directly. Chien-Pao, in its initial state, was known as the Sword of Ruin due to being used as a weapon to cut down enemies with ruthless aggression and no mercy, even being broken yet still used to kill others, before eventually became a force that could cause disasters all on its own. Not only does its name also apply to its unique signature ability, which lowers the defense stat of all Pokemon around them in battle by 25%, but also cues others on to the true nature of its physical state, as the true body of the creature is the sword itself, the rest of it being a construct made from compacted snow and ice. The hatred of all that were slain by this blade both before and after it was broken is infused into the sword, filling those that wield it with a sense of hatred themselves, willing to use the blade broken or whole to treat others they hate with great displeasure, even if it means going out and killing others in cold blood as hatred fills their hearts. This nature grants this beast access to the Ruination attack and allows it to wield the power of cold to great use in battle, with an incredible sense of mobility and agility to it that helps to counter the otherwise moderate offensive and defensive power its icy form provides it. Moreover, the beast has the power to control avalanches and wield power over 100 tons of snow at once, seemingly playing and leaping around innocently on the snow even in the midst of a life-ending avalanche at its command. With an intimidating appearance, should it make use of its sword to scare others with, having the appearance of a set of massive saber teeth, this living relic is still a devastating threat to all that come near it, and in turn is worth avoiding if possible to save one from the horrible fate that may befall them if this creature is fully unleashed upon the world again, especially given that it's extremely fast and physically strong, its base attack, special attack, and speed stats being above average for a fully evolved Dark and Ice-type Pokemon, possessing the highest base speed stat out of all Dark-type and non-Paradox Ice-type Pokemon, and rendering it a terrifying and swift foe to have to confront directly. Ting-Lu, in its initial state, was known as the Vessel of Ruin due to being used for ancient ritual sacrifices, filled with fear of what might happen if this is not done properly, before it eventually became a force that can cause disasters all on its own. Not only does this name have also applied to its unique signature ability, which lowers the special attack stat of all Pokemon around it in battle by 25%, but it also cues others in to the true state of its physical nature, as the immensely dense and heavy bodies of this creature is little more than a construct of dirt and stone made to give the vessel the power to move on its own volition. The fear of people who sacrifice into the vessel on its head in order to appease ancient deities lingers on in the form of this creature, and it fills others with a sense of insecurity and fear that makes them act out in ways they normally wouldn't, becoming paranoid and only serving the needs they believe the vessel has in order to stave off the perceived threat of losing everything they have ever loved. This nature grants the beast access to the Ruination attack and allows it to wield the power of the earth to great use in battle, with extremely strong stamina to it that helps to overcome the otherwise extremely slow and ponderous nature of the physical body. Moreover, the beast is capable of causing mass devastation with only the slightest bit of power, as bringing its heavy head down to the ground can cause the earth in front of it to split open, forming huge fissures that can run over 160 feet deep. With an imposing frame that truly strikes fear into all that witness its power, this living relic is still a mighty threat to all that come near it, and in turn is worth avoiding if possible to save one from the horrible fate that may befall them if the creature is fully unleashed upon the world again, especially given that it's extremely bulky and physically strong, its base HP attack and defense stats being above average for a fully evolved Dark and Ground-type Pokemon, and possessing the highest base HP and defense stats out of all Dark-type Pokemon, rendering it a terrifying and durable foe to have to confront directly. Lastly, Chi-Yu in its initial state was known as the Beads of Ruin due to being used for possible religious rituals and to ward off disasters initially, before it eventually became a force that can cause disasters all on its own. Not only does this name apply also to its unique signature ability, which lowers the special defense stat of all Pokemon around it in battle by 25%, but it also cues others into the true state of its physical nature, as the dark, shadowy eyes that are encircled by the titular beads project a body that is made entirely of fire with no other solid parts to it. The envy of people who wage war over these beads lingers on in the form of this creature, and it fills others with a fiery desire to obtain what is not just away from their grasp, but which they desire so much they would be willing to do anything to satiate that envy that fills their hearts, burning away all that makes them content and leaving nothing but a scorching desire for what one does not have left. This nature grants this beast access to the Ruination attack and allows it to wield the power of fire to great use in battle, with extremely strong special offensive power to it that helps to counter the otherwise meager stamina its fiery body provides it. Moreover, the flames that comprise its body can reach temperatures of over 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit, and it can easily swim through the sea of lava it creates by melting rock and sand that is left in its wake. While it might not look as threatening as some of the other members of the Treasures of Ruin, this living relic is still a fiery threat to all that come near it, and in turn is worth avoiding if possible to save one from the horrible fate that may befall them if the creature is fully unleashed upon the world again, especially given that it has immense special power and agility to it. Its base special attack, special defense, and speed stats being above average for a fully evolved Dark and Fire-type Pokemon, rendering it a terrifying and durable foe to have to confront directly.
While it's hard to say for many that any sort of Pokemon can truly be considered evil in any real sense, these monsters buck that trend entirely, existing as manifestations of evil itself and a dire set of foes to deal with as a result. Wo-Chien might resemble a snail of some sort in the form at the very least, but it is a wicked creature that tends to cause decay and destruction wherever it goes, rather than serve as a force of nature in a positive sense. As a manifestation of the heart-rotting nature of grudges, it is a fiendish creature whose potent defensive attributes and toxic nature render it a terrible force to face if the darkness within it cannot be beaten away. Chien-Pao is a fleet-footed and vicious beast that can more than use the power of hatred and frigid cold to stop others in their tracks with little effort. It might seem a bit frail compared to its contemporaries, but there is no doubt that the terrifying avalanches it can create on a whim more than cement it as a monster that only the purest of hearts might have a chance at halting. Ting-Lu is truly a brazen beast with incredible power and command over the very earth under its belt, and of those so-called treasures, it's the scariest of them all to me. The sheer sturdiness of its form and appearance alone is striking, feeding off the fear and paranoia of others, and with the might to generate massive fissures in the ground at a whim, it could literally cause an entire home to sink into the depths of the planet, never to be seen again. And lastly, while Chi-Yu might seem to be the smallest of the Treasures of Ruin, and probably the least dangerous, that couldn't be farther from the truth with its incredibly hot body and the path of lava it often leaves in its wake when close to the ground. The seething being of pure fire, fueled by the burning envy of others, can truly be a terror to behold, and is by far one little fiery fish you do not want to see at your local aquarium anytime soon.
Though in heart and spirit, they may not always have been so destructive, the Treasures of Ruin today are a terrible product of the evil that gave them life, and more than demonstrate the power to decimate others when left unattended. The fact that they are supposedly sealed away might seem to be a good thing, but there is no telling what may happen if they are ever unsealed by the wrong forces.
As such, do yourself a favor and just run if you ever see one of these monsters in the wild, or the literal ruination they may bring to you may simply be too much for any normal trainer to ever recover from.
Thank you all for watching this video. It always brings me great joy to see others enjoying the work I do to try and make the world of Pokemon and the fascinating creatures that lay inside of it feel as real as they possibly can. If you really enjoy my work, please feel free to leave a comment and subscribe, as I always do my best to respond to any and all comments that are left on my videos. In addition, if you wish to learn more about my work and help support it, you can find links to my Patreon page, as well as email and other contact information to my work on DeviantArt in the video description down below. Furthermore, you can find a link to my Discord server there as well if you'd like to get a first glimpse at what videos are coming up next and converse with other fans of the world of Pokemon. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and have a wonderful rest of your day.